So what's up, you guys? How you guys doing? I was looking at a little bit of stuff online, looking at different videos, reading a couple things, and ran across Tamir Rice case. I didn't want to talk about this, but then it's just something that had to be addressed to me. You already know how I feel about it, but I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more about how I feel about it. For one, the cop got off, and the family took a settlement. To me, when these cops kill people, especially these young kids, people shouldn't take the settlement. They should keep fighting because the settlement, it's like you just signed a contract. You can't talk about it anymore. It's basically just saying that we're gonna pay you to kill your kid. Which I don't want to talk too much about it because I know it's gonna make people uncomfortable. Some people is gonna just disacknowledge anything I'm saying right now. Is gonna hate what I'm saying, but I want to say this: we gotta stop looking at cops, looking at people in general, as their occupation makes it justifiable or justified for them to kill people. I don't care if you're a cop, I don't care if you're this or that. We shouldn't say it's alright for this dude to get away with killing this man. He should still be tried, just like all the other cops. And the thing is, when it comes to black people, nobody want to look at it and nobody want to see the systematic racism and what these things do. Like, people will sit there and say that this kid, 12 years old, deserved to get killed because he had this toy gun. He probably pointed at the cops or he's playing around or whatever. I know from being around kids. Kids 12 years old, 13, 14 years old, they play around all the time. The cops shouldn't just go in there, bam, bam, bust first. And it's kind of crazy because, I talked to a lot of people, and I went to this camp, and this guy knew like a cop who shot him or knew the people who was calling in saying some stuff. And the people who was calling in was saying stuff like, yeah, this kid, well, they didn't say kid, but they say like this man was out there with a gun, I'm scared and stuff. And like they was just terrified for his life. And we just look at the true thing. A person killed another person. Do you think the person deserved to die just because they point a fake gun? Or even if someone misinterpreted a gun, the fake gun, to being a real gun, how does that justify them being killed? It seems like whenever a black person do something, well, in this case, this dude didn't do nothing at all. People try to make some type of way. They try to justify any type of way for the killer to get off. They want to sit there and say stuff like, oh, black people in Chicago is killing each other. But those two do not go hand in hand because if you know anything about the ghetto and you know anything about poverty, them things were systematically created. We know from poverty and low education, which if you go in the hood like me, I'm not saying I'm from the hood, but I've been in the hood many times. I've been around the burbs, the country. I've been around a lot of different areas, so I know about a lot of different people. But if you go into the hood, or you go in a place where people don't care, because the government is not giving no type of equality to the people in the hood. They created this thing. Just like if you go back then, like in prohibition times, those ghettos was created too. It was different races. We had the Polite to come in there. We had the English. We had the Italian. All them things. But when it comes to black people, we just made us seem like we was poor, and that's not part of our culture. But back on the topic, what I'm talking about is, if we know about poverty and low education, because the teachers, they're not getting paid well to deal with teachers and stuff like that. We know that brings violence. That if you trap anyone into an environment, projects for one, it's the reason why they call it a project. Like we heard Jay-Z say that since everyone wants to listen to celebrities but not someone like me, you know what song is that? I'll just listen to it. I know places we can go. Do you want to ride? Jay-Z, he said it. And I don't even like Jay-Z, man. He's kind of a whack rap. Well, I'm not going to say he's whack, but he just don't be talking about nothing. But anyway, back to the topic. He says, what do you call the project? You know why they call it a project? Because the project is an experiment. Something logical. But anyway, projects are an experiment. Based on what I'm saying. I'm going off topic, but anyway, I was just trying to tie it in. Anyway, what I'm saying is, if you take anyone, which they force black people from gentrifications and a lot of different things that I don't want to go too much into depth for. But if you take anyone in a closed environment, a closed space, it can be just us right now, trapped in the box, something like that first movie Saw, when they was trapped in the what was the bathroom or whatever. Say them dudes wasn't chained up or whatever, but they had to fight over food. Eventually, no matter who it is, studies prove this. If you're trapped in a small spot, don't have the education, don't know where to get out, then you're gonna become violent. It makes you more aggressive. I don't know this whole scientific to it about it, but studies been showing that this is what it is. So for that whole argument, I know this is a lot I was saying anyway, but that whole argument when people want to use Chicago and different hoods and black on black violence, that's just dishonest. That's just a way to get away from the subject at hand, that a person killed another person. If I go on the street right now and pick a fight with someone, or if I just sit on, mind my own business and whatever, somehow me and another person get in an altercation, and I go out and kill this person because they punched me, then, of course this person started this person, or may now started it, whatever. But for me to kill that person is not justified, because I should know how to walk away from things like that, because I'm a grown person. I'm not going to go out there and kill a 12-year-old because it looked like he has a gun or anything like that, especially if I'm trained. It seems like when it comes to police, people act like they're not trained. Like people going to the military, they get trained for these things. People going to police academy, they get trained for these. It's not just people going there and they just fear for their life. Because I know people act like when you talk about these things, you haven't been through different things just because you don't have the occupation what someone has. It seems like when people look at cops, they look at their occupation and look at them like they're not a human being. They're still civilian. They just got a job, just like the person at the McDonald's, just like the person like the grocery store, just like you, just like the scientist. It's just a different occupation. They still have the brain, the same mind as us, the same brain as us. It's just that they took a different career path, which is not saying it's a bad thing, but it's not saying all cops is bad either. But we have to look at the ones who's out there doing it and not let them get off. That's the simple what a lot of people are saying. And a lot of people just want to just acknowledge that, and it's just sickening because for one, if I get killed, for one, I don't want my family settling for nothing. Y'all gotta fight for that. But for two, it's about human life, and it really killed me. Like, how is my life less valuable than somebody else just because of the color of my skin? That's some BS. And y'all want to justify it because an argument or altercation or something, people are not getting armed. I've seen white kids. I hang out with a lot of people. I've seen white people cuss cops out, man. Like, do they deserve to die too? Like, just look at it as a human being. That is sad, man. It is sickening that someone can get killed and y'all say they deserve to die. Like, what is y'all's problem with that? Like, I don't get that at all. What is people's thinking process that your life is better or more deserving than the next person, especially a 12-year-old kid? A kid with his whole life ahead of him. And people look at these things like teenagers or whatever. Someone can make one mistake. I don't care if someone rob, kill, steal, whatever. That doesn't mean they deserve to die. Because to me, if you say someone deserves to die, that's saying your life is more valuable than theirs. And who are you? How arrogant are you to say that your life is more valuable than the next man? To me, that's just sickening. And I think a lot of us need to get over our mindset. And we also got to stop watching these stupid shows like Empire and stuff like that. Because a little people act like, it doesn't matter, but I got rid of cable for a reason, because nothing on TV is positive. It's nothing but BS. Because for one, humans, I don't know what it is about our society, what it is, we love negativity. So if you look at these images on TV, 9 times out of 10, it's negative imagery with black people and stuff. Even though so-called good ones, I just seen something about a show called Underground. It's a slave thing. Empire is so-called good, rap people's on the come up. It's just glorifying money. Nothing really talks about real culture or real happiness. How many shows of an all black kid cast, just doctors, lawyers or something, and there's no type of a backstory like, yeah, I came from the hood and I did this and I came from the uprising. No matter what you go to, it's going to look at some type of way that shows that black people's culture is poverty or some type of gang related stuff, when that's not our culture. Our culture is rich, and it's not just violence and rap videos and stuff like that. And to me, it's kind of sickening because it's acting like we're just limited to this one thing. So I'm gonna wrap this video up real quick. I didn't talk about everything I want to say because I know for one, people's gonna get mad, and for one, I don't want to make it too lengthy. But if you get mad, I honestly don't care, because you gotta look at yourself as a human being. To me, like, what it makes you think that your life is more deserving than the next person? What makes you think just because someone getting an altercation they deserve to die? Yeah, we know breaking the law is something we gotta obey, but for real, a lot of us break the law. I know I break the law a lot of times. It's just minor stuff, and I don't even know it. Jaywalking, running stop signs, running red lights sometimes, speeding. I'm horrible with speeding. Did that make me a thug or a killer or anything? Because it seemed like whenever a black person do a minor thing, people act like it's just super above and that we're all perfect. No one's perfect in this world. I don't care if someone is a criminal. I don't care if someone is like Charles Manson has a cult leader or whatever. Everyone does things for a reason. You really can't judge someone who makes a bad decision or actually especially one bad decision. You can't deserve your whole life over that. You never know why someone kills or steals. Some people might kill because they're forced. They don't know. You don't know whose mindset is at. Some people might steal because they're stealing for their family. They might kill because some reason they think that's the only way out of a beef or something like that. This type of stuff happens all the time. It's not the people that's going out there and they want to kill, but it's just the life we live. I'm gonna make another video talking about imagery. I keep talking about it, but I gotta get all the clips around here because the images that we seen on TV is sickening. From all these zombie stuff, like the stuff we put in our mind, a subconscious mind that people don't want to think about, is horrible, and it makes it show that life is less valuable. And when it comes down to the cops killing people, how this all ties in, if every show on TV is like the first 48, you seeing that stuff like that, even stuff that's supposed to be funny or whatever, like little different hood movies and stuff, you see people getting killed on it. It's all made of a joke. We seeing gang violence as a joke, menace to society stuff, all this stuff is a joke, but death and murder is real life stuff. So it's not all systematic stuff. Of course, some people sell out and they make these different images, like Empire and all these different little TV shows. But a lot of it just come to me that it's a lot of imagery and just the way we value human life as a whole. It's a lot of other stuff too, but I don't want to keep going in depth. So I talked enough as it is. So that being said, peace and share love. Peace, you guys. I'm stumbling on my words a little bit. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm just on the computer doing things, you know. I do a lot of research, reading and stuff. That's what I do. But share love. Peace, you guys, and really think about what you put inside your mind, because to me it's very sickening how people really say, like, I don't really care about the cops killing. Well, I mean, I do care about the cops killing people like that, because when they say it, but it's more so to anger me is how people say people deserve to die, because it's just sickening to me. I don't want to see murder of any case, wrong or right. And I have people who got killed. I know people who killed. It's not a good feeling for no one on both ends. So with that being said, share love, spirit love. Peace, you guys.